Now, since we have enabled VNC on our recent install, but have elected to have systemd enter the text mode as opposed to the graphics mode, let's go ahead and fix that so that we can at least VNC into the system if necessary. So, fix broken VNC by altering systemd target. So of course we turn to YAST to make this change. It can be done from the shell, obviously. However, let's boot this system up. It should come up as 28. And we can either alter the change here or SSH, either or. Since 28 is an address that will be automatically configured into the nodes that become dependents on this or subsidiaries of this or clones of this, maybe we won't SSH into it as a result. In other words, once we clone this, the same keys will be used across other nodes, which will cause confusion on our client. So let's avoid that. We'll just operate from here. So the current target level, or old-fashioned run level, if you will, is 3 as opposed to 5. So we'll navigate to System and make a change to the Services Manager. And notice the default system target. That's the section that we're in now. Let's Shift-Tab to get there. It's in multi-user, but we want this to be the graphical environment. Let's give it an OK. And let's reboot. And then once the GUI comes up, run level 5, we can confirm from the client that VNC is able to connect. So there's the GUI. Let's pop back over. And there you see the option. This takes us to the login screen so we can actually log in here. How does this impact the console? Well, let's log in. So here we're logging in the console. Let's take a, well actually, via VNC, let's take a look at the console. The console still shows a separate distinct user. One's connected to the physical console, TTY7, and the other is a virtual console that is created by VNC, akin to the pseudo terminals, the PTSs that are generated when you open a new shell, for example. So this is totally independent. And it's always been smoothly implemented by SUSE Linux. When you no longer need it, just log out, obviously. And it'll be there in the event that you need it. So VNC Viewer, connect, and because this is taking you to the GDM or the login screen, a password is not required because in order to use it, you'll have to supply the appropriate credentials. So let's kill that. So now we have VNC support, and of course, if you have a Java-enabled browser, you can connect to the default port 5801, and that'll work as well. So from, say, this node, if we nmap 7528, we should see those two ports, 5801 and 5901, as open. There's 5901. And it's a bit slow. The firewall's in place, so it's restricting the inbound traffic. And that's it. We can now connect with VNC, and of course we should be able to connect with SSH. There you see it finally picked up the other port, 5801, Java, 5901, plain old VNC. So to fix things, you just change the target run level on the node. And as far as what that is, let's see if we can go back to a shell and just do a run level. Although it's now called systemd, it still uses the system 5 or system v run level system. So when you default to a text target, you're effectively entering, well, multi-user text, you're effectively entering run level 3, whereas graphical means 5 still. So it's still the same synonym, if you will. So that's in place. Let's take a quick look here at Services Manager in YAST. And you'll see that the default now is a graphical interface. So that looks good. So let's get out of this interface for now and move on. In fact, we want to power this down because we're going to clone it. And that looks good. So, YAST, System Services, change default target to what is effectively multi-user graphical. And then reboot to make sure that it works.